Good morning, everybody. This game against Memphis has been in the works, I think, for a few years. Um, under normal circumstances, we would be playing them, and the Mike Sly Family Foundation for Prostate Cancer Research was very tied into this neutral site matchup in Atlanta. Um, Thanks to the people that are organizing the tournament in Atlanta. This was going to be because Birmingham's not available this year because they're redoing the BJCC. We were looking for a neutral site opponent and a neutral site to be able to continue this annual Mike's Live Invitational. That part of it's gotten a lot less attention because obviously no fans, and we aren't able to then do the things that we would do with prostate screening and so on and so forth. But it's just another reminder, um, uh, as families, start to gather, families get reunited after school, so on and so forth, um, to get checked. And we always use the tournament as an opportunity to sort of remind everybody about that. Um, so, Memphis is a great opponent. They're a top 25 program. This is Penny Hardaway's third year. They're picked second in the American, right behind Houston. Houston's obviously off to a phenomenal start. Was an Elite Eight team a year ago when we went to the Final Four. And Memphis has got a really good team this year. Last year they were the youngest team in college basketball. They had like 4 or 5 freshmen that played every night. Those kids all are back except James Weissman, and so right now they probably have the best collection of 4 sophomores, in the game. Then they add Landers Nolly, the transfer from Virginia Tech, who led Virginia Tech in scoring last year, was all ACC, and I think because of all the COVID transfer regulations and rules, every transfer is eligible. Musa Cisse was a top 10 prospect. He's probably coming out in his class, the top center, or one of the top 2 centers as far as the NBA draft is concerned. So what an opportunity then for Dylan Caldwell and Babatunde to go up against a guy like that, who has all the reputation and recognition earned and everything. What a great opportunity for them to go up against a player of that caliber and talent. Landers Nolly is going to play the 3 and the 4. So what a great opportunity for guys like Jalen Williams or JT Thor or Alan Flanagan, or to go up against a player like that. And then you've got Lester Quinones, who's one of the better shooters in the country, and Boogie Ellis, who's probably the best 6th man, if depending on whether he starts or comes off the bench. Both those guys are, as well as Nolly, are tremendous 3-point shooters. Penny's got a great offensive mind. He's got an NBA background. They run really good stuff. But then for a team that's as talented as Memphis, they play as hard as anybody. I mean, if you're going to play for Penny Hardaway, you're going to play hard. They will press us 40 minutes, 94 feet. So the styles of play are very similar. They shoot the 3 ball, they press, they run, so do we. I think you want to talk about getting exposed. This will be the ultimate in that exposure, because it'll probably to date be the best defensive team that we played so far this year.
All right, if you have any questions, please put in the chat. We'll go ahead and start with Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Bruce, can you talk about this 4-game stretch before Christmas? What type of potential do you guys have to improve?
Well, we had 4 games in 8 days, 8 or 9 days to start the season. And, I'm glad that we were able to kind of get through those. I actually thought we played well in 3 of them. Obviously Central Florida being the outlier. Then you got finals week and study week. And so, we looked at that. Typically, if you guys look back at my schedules over the years, there's always been a pretty big break early in December because of that. And so now what we've done is we've taken advantage of the last 6 or 7 days where we haven't had a game Really had some very good practices, preparing for Memphis, Texas Southern, Troy, and Appalachian State. By the time you get into the SEC season, you've seen a lot of different actions. You've seen different zones. You've seen different man-to-man. You've seen different pressures. You've been asked to do different things offensively to sort of take advantage of your system. We're still new. We're still so new, and we're still so young that there's still so much to learn and so much to be exposed. There's no way you could duplicate Memphis's pressure or ball pressure unless you play against yourself. And so we try to play against ourselves a little bit this week, and I think that was the best way for us to get ready to play. We had a lot more contact this week scrimmaging ourselves than what a more veteran team would have, and I think we came out of it okay.
We'll go to Justin Ferguson.
Bruce, you mentioned it there in your opening statement. You said Memphis is the best defensive team y'all probably played this year. They were really good on defense last year, too, with all that youth. What makes them such a good defensive team in your mind?
Well, a lot of ball pressure. They make it really difficult for you to run your offense. They deny one pass away. They use their hands a lot. It's very hard to have much freedom of movement when you play against Memphis because they clutch and grab and they're active. And I just think when you play for a guy like Penny Hardaway, who was a Hall of Famer, and he demands that you play with a certain level of effort and energy, or he'll put one of the other 5 stars out there, and so they do. They just do. And like anybody that turns people over, they're good in transition, and those kids want to get out and run. And so they'll gamble, they'll take some chances. And it would be it's sort of a, if we can't handle their pressure, it'll be a bit of a recipe for disaster for a young team. So can we take advantage of some of their overplay? Can we handle their pressure? That is going to be what we're going to find out tomorrow, Saturday afternoon.
We'll go to Nathan King.
Hey, Bruce. Hey, you touched on a little bit on Tiger Talk last night, and then you just talked about it for a second as well. Can you kind of just explain the going through more physical practices, what that does for a young team, and why that's kind of been what you go to for a young roster in your coaching career?
Yeah, you take a risk. I've always been you hear about this in football all the time, and you never hear about it in basketball. I've talked about it a little bit. Contact practices versus no contact practices. And if you're playing a couple games a week, you might have one contact practice in that week and maybe 2 or 3 non-contact practices. Non-contact practices are drills and slides and shots and 5-on-0 concepts and, you're running and shooting and passing and individual development, team development, but we're not hitting. Because when you hit, that's when you run the risk of, getting a guy turning an ankle and being out for 3 weeks. And then, we're already, shorthanded at some positions. So you kind of tape them up and you hold your breath. But if we don't have these contact practices and we don't learn from our successes and mistakes by scrimmaging and playing, then we're not going to get better fast enough to be able to win games. There's so little experience as far as guys having played a lot, last year. My freshmen all played. Justin Powell was out all year, almost all year long with an injury his senior year. Dylan Caldwell didn't play his senior year because he was not eligible at McEachern after he transferred from his high school in Virginia. Chris Moore played. JT Thor played. And Sharif played, and he's not out there. And then you've got Allen and Jamal and Jalen and Devin and all these guys that came off the bench last year and didn't play a lot. So I got a lot of guys that haven't played a lot of basketball the last couple of years, and that's been sort of the fun part of going to practice every day and trying to put it together.
We'll go to Mark Murphy.
Yeah, can you talk about the importance for rebounding in this game and also the need to get a little more inside scoring from your team?
Yep. There's not going to be many easy rebounds to be had. This won't be for the faint of heart, because Memphis is long and they're athletic. And they're really like us. They're really long off the ball. They got big, long, athletic wings that can all rebound big, with the exception of Lomax. Big, long guards that are all really good rebounding guards. And so, yeah, we need more we need more inside baskets. And so, everybody is available to be able to try to get more 2-point baskets. And so whether it's our post-up game to our 4s and 5s or our drill penetration game, Memphis blocks a lot of shots now. I mean, they're, I think, 10th in the country in block shots. So we've got to mix up. We got to do a better job getting the ball in the paint. We got to, last year, obviously, you guys have seen over the last couple of years, 2 years ago, we led the country in 3-point makes and shots and percentage, the whole thing. And last year, we were a much better 2-point shooting team because that's where we were. This year, it looks like we could be better from 3 than 2. But we still need to do a better job of getting to the free throw line and drawing contact and scoring inside if those are high percentage looks.
All right, are there any more questions? All righty, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, thank you.
Bye.